So today is the second in a four-part sermon series on St. Francis's prayer, "Make me an instrument of your peace." Last week, we talked about something that I'm not going to remember at the moment. Okay, where there is hatred, let me so love, and where there is injury, let me so pardon. And today we are on where there is doubt, faith. So where there is doubt, let us sow faith. And this is a book by Kent Nurburn that kind of fleshes out the prayer in each chapter. So this is the chapter on doubt and faith. He says this: "We must remember that more people live in the shadow of doubt than in any blinding light of faith. When we show others that we too struggle with doubt, but continue to walk forward in faith toward that distant and unfathomable light, we meet them in the shadow of their uncertainty and bear witness to the worthiness of their struggle. We strengthen their courage to reach out for the cloak of God in their own way, and in doing this, we sow seeds of faith. We must witness what we can and point that witness toward the light of God. Feed the hungry, comfort the lonely, visit the sick, assist the fallen, whatever it is that we can do to increase the light of goodness. That is where our witness begins."
Our scripture reading today is in Matthew 14, verses 22 through 33. Jesus insisted that the disciples get into the boat and precede him to the other side. Having sent the crowds away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray, remaining there alone as night fell. Meanwhile, the boat, already 1,000 yards from shore, was being tossed about in the waves which had been raised by the fierce winds. At about 3 a.m, Jesus came walking toward them on the lake. When the disciples saw Jesus walking on the water, they were terrified. "It is a ghost," they said, and in their fear they began to cry out. Jesus hastened to reassure them. "Don't worry, it's me. Don't be afraid." Peter spoke up. "If it is really you, tell me to come across the water." "Come," Jesus said. So Peter got out of the boat and began to walk on the water toward Jesus. But when he saw how strong the wind was, he became frightened. He began to sink and cried out, "Save me!" Jesus immediately stretched out his hand and caught Peter. "You have so little faith," Jesus said to him. "Why did you doubt?" Once they had climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Those who were in the boat showed great reverence, declaring to Jesus, "You are indeed God's own." Here ends it.
Would you pray with me? Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, let me sow pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in forgiving that we are forgiven, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of each of our hearts be filled with light and wisdom and insight. Amen. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about faith and whether it still exists in the United States as we see our churches dwindling and people leaving organized religion. And I suggested that we needed to broaden our understanding of faith. That if we look at it more in terms of action, we see that yes, it is alive and well. And not action that's just going and sitting in a place like this on Sunday morning, but action in our daily lives. You know, if we really have faith in something more, something greater than ourselves, if we really have faith in a spirit of compassion, if we really believe in the interconnectedness of one another and of all of us to creation, then we will live it. It will show in what we do and what we say. And I think as Francis throws in this little line about sowing faith where there is doubt, I think he's saying the same thing. I don't think he's saying, well, wherever you find doubt, I want you to go out on the street corner and preach the gospel. I don't think it's about words so much as it is about action. Francis wanted us to be the gospel, to be light, to be all of the good, beautiful things that Jesus was. And so where we find doubt in something more, we're to bring light to that space through our goodness and our kindness and our generosity and our hope and justice. Planting those seeds. And like I said last week, it's not that they're going to be full grown. Seeds are just seeds that when watered and found light can bloom into something beautiful. But we're not responsible for the whole plant, which is really good because I don't have a great green thumb inside. We're just responsible for planting the seeds. It seems to me that maybe in any age, but that there's a lot to cause us to doubt out there. Maybe you're all better than I am. Or maybe you can just commiserate with me for a moment. But it feels like there are a lot of things that make us want to go, really? Is there really a God out there? Is any of this that I believe in really true? What are those things? War. What else?
Homelessness.
Human trafficking. What are your?
Homelessness.
Homelessness.
Hatred.
Hatred. Poverty.
Abuse.
Abuse.
Mental illness.
Mental illness. The Holocaust. And every other genocide that there's been out there. What else? Racism. Bullying. Violence of any type.
What's
Selfishness.
earthquakes?
Earthquakes. Sure, even some of the natural disasters where so many people are left dead or homeless and struggling. It seems like we can go on and on. And so in the face, all you have to do is open the newspaper, turn on NPR, whatever, every day, and you hear over and over again, and it's enough to kind of want us to cry out and go, all right, God, really, are you out there? Because it doesn't feel like it right now. It's easy to doubt, and not so easy sometimes to find that faith and to hold on to that faith. And that's what that whole line with Francis is about. And that's what the whole scripture piece was about too. Peter walking on the water. It's about faith and it's about doubt. So we have Peter who's got a lot of faith in Jesus, right? I mean, he's followed Jesus. He's even in the boat because Jesus said, go on, get in the boat, I'll catch up with you later. He has a commitment to Jesus. He believes in what he says and in his goodness and his kindness and his teachings. So he's got a lot of faith there. And then suddenly the storm kicks up while they're in the boat. And the winds are going and the waves are going, and if it had been me, I would be getting sick over the side of the boat. But hey, they were all fishermen. Maybe they were good with it. In any case, they're still scared, it says, and they're still frightened. So picture yourself 3 a.m, pitch black, with this boat going like this, and suddenly you see something coming towards you on the water. Maybe kind of a whitish sort of thing that when the lightning strikes, it kind of lights up, and you're all freaking out, right? Oh my gosh, it's a ghost! You can just see those disciples, what are we going to do? What are we going to, oh my God, And then over the wind, and the waves, we hear, no, guys, it's me! It's Jesus, chill out! And they all look at each other and go, do you believe that? Do you think it's Jesus? Could it be Jesus? Let's test him. How can we test him and find out if it's really Jesus? And Peter goes, I know, I've got it. Hey, if you're really Jesus, call on me to come walk across the water to you. And God calls up and goes, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Really, if you're one of the other disciples and Peter's just said this, you're kind of doing one of these, right? Oh my gosh, Peter's at it again, really? Because if it's really God on the phone, it will be a message. If it's really a ghost and you just asked to walk out across the water to them, what's going to happen? You're going to drown. Because a ghost is not going to go, oh no, sorry, you're right. I'm really not Jesus, I'm really a ghost. Don't get out of the boat. No! I mean, if you're going to test him, what are you going to do? You're going to go, all right, what do we have for breakfast, Jesus? Tell us what you taught us this morning, Jesus, if you're really Jesus. You're not going to go, oh, tell me to step out of the boat into this wavy, churning water. But that's what Peter does. He says, command me to step out onto the water toward you. He's asking for faith. He says, give me the faith to believe in what you say. Give me the faith to believe in you and to believe in me. And Peter says, and Jesus says, all right, come on then. And Peter's good. And he steps out of the boat and he's strong and he's got that positive attitude and he's doing really good. And then he starts to think about it, doesn't he? Oh my gosh, what am I doing? And he starts to sink. And Jesus holds out a hand and pulls him up and gets him to the boat. And then this next line is the one that people always take as Jesus kind of condemning Peter. And kind of reproaching him and saying, oh, you have so little faith, Peter. Why did you doubt? Personally, I take that with a little laugh. Really, Peter? You know, why do you have so little faith? Why did you doubt? Do you remember, most of you have done this anyways. You've got your kid on the side of the swimming pool, right? And you're or on the diving board, you go, come on, jump! It's okay, I got you, you can do it. And then, no, I can't do it. You can do it, come on, Johnny, you can do it. Until they finally jump and then they're all excited, I did it. And you're like, seriously, why were you so worried? I was gonna catch you. It's the same thing. You're not reproaching the child, you just kind of laugh at him and go, you are gonna be just fine, I'm right here. But we all kind of do this thing Peter does. You know, we step out of the boat and then we think, oh my gosh, I can't do what I thought I was going to do. Right? We have faith and then we doubt. We have faith and then we doubt. I do the same thing when I stand up here some mornings and I'm going to sing for you. And I start off really good and then I think, oh my gosh, I'm singing all by myself for all these people. And suddenly my heart starts to go and then you can't breathe as well. And all of my fears have become a self-fulfilling prophecy. We doubt, and we have faith, and we have faith, and we doubt. It's a whole lot easier if we have somebody to hold out a hand and pull us up sometimes. You know, the story wouldn't have been nearly as good if Peter had just been fine and walked across the water, giving Jesus a big hug, slap on the back. Hey man, look at that, I did that. Guys, come on, this is easy. No, it touches us because we get it, because we have faith and we doubt. And we believe and then we get scared. And we're certain of some things and then we have these nagging doubts in the back of our mind. And then hopefully we have someone who comes along and gives us a hand, catches us when we jump. There's a story about two women who were good friends, and good spiritual friends on top of it. So they talked a lot about faith. And then came a time where one of them was really, really struggling with something that was going on in her life. And she confessed to this other friend, she said, I just don't have any faith anymore. And her friend looked at her and said, you're telling me that for 7 years you said you have faith in this and this and this and this, and now you don't remember any of those things that you've said? And the woman said, no, I don't remember. I hurt too much right now to remember. That's why I need you. I need you to remember for me. That's the holding out the hand. Because sometimes we're in that really low place where we're sinking in the middle of a storm and we need someone to hold out a hand and haul us back up. You know, I look back over the last at least 20, 25 years, 30 years of, an intentional spiritual journey. And the times that I've doubted and had faith, and how many people along the way have thrown me a lifeline, given me a hand, who didn't even know it. And some of them are sitting right here, some of them are you. Sometimes it's just been a note of encouragement or gratitude or appreciation or a phone call of encouragement. Some of you dyed your hair blue with me at one point in time. Some of you offered me a job, or you talked me off a ledge when I was ready to just give up and get out. People have watched my children. They have sent me on vacation over and over and over again. When I have doubted, somebody has thrown me a lifeline, and I'm still here. Can any of you think of a lifeline that's been thrown to you, a hand that's been given to reach you up, pull you up, get you back in the boat? Jan?
We were going through difficult days financially, and at Christmas time that year, the woman called up, I think our balance when we were paying them back like $20 every week or every other week, and it was a $400 debt. And she said, we've been so faithful, let's just forgive the debt.
That was quite a lifeline. Something to restore your faith and goodness in humanity. Beth?
My sister, who is practically my best friend, if not my best friend, has saved me 3 times. And also, there was a Christmas years and years ago, strangely enough, all 4 children, my husband and his brothers and sister, anyway, all of us were without jobs. And our church at the time came with bags and bags of groceries. It was very, very moving.
It's those little things, Donna.
Just hold it close.
To us, Sacred Journeys is our, before coming here, it was a pretty rough time.
Well, we're glad you're here, and that we could be. I'll pay you later.
Cash only, please.
Well, that might be rough, but I'll take a collection. In the last, most of you know that my dad had a stroke about a month ago, and there have been people in that month that have reached out and pulled me up, and some of them don't even know it. I've gone around to and toured a bunch of assisted livings and memory care places because I didn't know what state he was going to be in when we got through this. And there was one Friday afternoon where I had 4 back-to-back that I was visiting. And by the end of the 3rd one, I was just raw and, on the edge of just completely melting down. And I was at Azura in Kenosha, and I did the little tour, I talked to the woman, and she actually walked me all the way out to my car. And she said, I know this is overwhelming. I know it's really hard. She said, but if you have any questions, if there's anything we can do, it doesn't matter where your dad goes. It doesn't matter if he comes here. Just know that we're here to help you and to find the best place for your dad. It's just little things like that that are the seeds of faith in the midst of really difficult times. So there's a rabbi, a preacher, and a priest. And they all go out in a boat, and they go out on the lake and they go fishing. And one of them gets out of the boat and walks to shore and comes back. And then a little while later, another one gets out of the boat and walks to shore and comes back. And then a little while later, the third one gets out of the boat and sinks and flounders in the water, and the other two look at each other and go, do you think we should tell them where the rocks are? Perhaps sometimes when we're doubting, it's because we've simply forgotten where the rocks are. And we need somebody to help us find our path again, to put us back up on those rocks, to catch us when we jump into the swimming pool, to pull us into the boat. And sometimes we're the person that needs to be pulled in, and sometimes we're the one that needs to reach out a hand. We're the ones that plant the seeds. Amen.